Nearly 2 decades later, the images from the 9/11 terror attacks are still etched in the minds of all Americans, including those New York firefighters, first responders, and police officers who responded to the scene. Joining us to share his story, Bill Pepitone, a retired NYPD officer and New York City mayoral candidate. Bill, thank you for your service and your sacrifice, all that you did that day. Tell us about where you were 19 years ago.
Thank you so much, and good morning. 19 years ago, I was assigned to the Brooklyn South Task Force, and I went into work early, as I usually did, went into the command gym and was working out before my shift when a sergeant came in and informed me that a plane had hit one of the towers. Like so many of us, I just imagined it was a small plane and couldn't fathom how they could hit the tower, how they could not see it. It was a clear morning. So I went upstairs, started getting in uniform with several other members of my unit, and we had the news on television, and we just couldn't believe the damage that was caused in the tower, again, believing it had to be a small plane. As we were getting dressed and watching the news, we actually observed the second plane hit the tower, hit the second tower. And at that time, the television, the broadcast froze. Everybody in the locker room became absolutely silent, and it was like time just stopped for a couple of moments. And then we realized that we were under attack. It was a terrorist attack. We got dressed very, very quickly. We got dressed in silence, and we raced to Manhattan to do whatever was necessary.
Yeah, you froze for a moment, but then you realized that you had to take action, and you did. And we appreciate all of those brave men and women who went towards this attack, not knowing what was to come, not knowing what to expect when you were coming onto that scene there. What did you see when you arrived on scene? Who did you come into contact with and interact with once there?
When we first arrived, it was, of course, it was very chaotic. There was law enforcement personnel from every agency, the fire department, EMS, everyone was almost arriving at the same time. We were in a van of about 4 or 5 police officers. We stopped underneath one of the towers, and I remember looking up out of the van and saying, I just can't imagine how in the world the firefighters are going to be able to put this fire out, and how this is going to end. Within a couple of moments, I heard perhaps the loudest sound I have ever heard in my life. It sounded like a train coming through the station magnified by 100. I saw people running. I heard the 1010 winds reporter we had on the radio start screaming into the radio, and we just got out. We ran up West Street. That big cloud of dust that we see all the time on news reports was chasing us. I'm not a very fast runner to begin with, so I really had no chance of outrunning it. It just came over all of us, and once it passed, I turned around and saw just complete destruction. It was surreal. I looked around for the other members of my unit, and I only saw a couple, and for a split second there, we just looked at each other, and we thought everybody was gone. We thought everybody in our unit was gone. We couldn't imagine the loss of life. And we just had to mentally refocus and await instructions from our supervisors wherever they were.
Yeah.
We interacted with each other, and eventually we were able to make communication and reassemble.
And getting to work and also assisting those in the area who I'm sure were as, confused as you were, and just looking for help and guidance, and you would have been there to provide it for those people. We thank our men and women who would have responded to the scene at the time, you being one of them. Bill Pepitone, thanks for joining us this morning and sharing your story. We appreciate it.
Thanks so much. God bless everyone. Thank you.